Hey guys, I had my baby. Hopefully she doesn't start screaming. Are you gonna start screaming? Okay, I was going to do my birth story. I have it written in her baby book, and I have some major mom brain, so sorry, but I'm gonna read it to you. So I woke up on the 27th, and I went to pee and lost my mucus plug at 10 a.m. I started having contractions, and mine felt like all in my back, like back labor. And my friend has like a really expensive doula, and she was like, "Girl, put your back against the wall, tilt your pelvis forward, and hold your belly up." And it gave me a little bit of relief. So, but the contractions got worse and worse, and they weren't stopping at all. And when I would, walk around the house or whatever, they were just getting worse. So I thought, this is the day I'm going to have a baby. Um, so I labored at home all day long, and my husband came home for lunch, and I told him I'm pretty sure I'm having contractions like in my back. And he went back to work, and by 3:15, she gets off at 4. By 3:15, I was crying. I was yelling through the contractions. I was grabbing onto the countertop and like crying tears. I was in so much pain. And so I texted him and I was like, "I think you need to come home. I'm I'm scared," is what I said. "I'm in a lot of pain and I'm really scared." So he comes home and he's like, "Let's call labor and delivery." So we called them. We're like, "Hey, I think that I'm in labor. When do we know to come up there?" And I have the Freya app, which like counts your contractions for you, and it has like a thing that says when to go. You're in established labor, like you need to go to the hospital. Well, mine wouldn't ever say go to the hospital, and so I was really going off that app. And my husband's like, "Honestly, we need to go," but I'm jumping ahead of things. So when we called labor and delivery, she's like, "How much water have you drank today?" And to be honest with you guys, I had a cup of coffee and like a little bit of water. And she was like, "No, girl, you're making your contractions worse by not drinking water. Drink a gallon of water and then call us again." Which the contractions didn't ease up at all, but like I get what she's saying. Like I needed to be like hydrated during all this. So where am I? So my husband left work early. He's like, "Hey y'all, my wife's having contractions." So they're like, "Go home." So he comes home and I get in the bathtub and I'm playing my positive birth affirmations on my Freya app, and I'm counting my contractions, and they're like every 39 seconds, every 50 seconds. So they weren't consecutive. They were very different timing. And so that's why the app wouldn't say, "You need to go to the hospital now." But I'm telling you, in the middle of those contractions, hurt so much. I was in that warm bath, which did help big time. But we have like a little bar in our bathtub. I would grab onto it and scream, "Ouch!" Like, ouch. That's how I dealt. The whole time I had a contraction, till I got that epidural later, that's what I did to keep from cussing. So, let's see. So I labored at home from 10 a.m. to 6, which is like, I'm proud of myself for that, because I had that fear of driving 30 minutes to the hospital and them saying, "Girl, you're a 2, go back home." And driving 30 minutes back home and then driving 30 minutes. I just did not want to do that. So I was trying my best to stay home until my contractions were 3 to 5 minutes apart, like really like trying to be close to time for an epidural when I got there. So actually really did it. I was screaming at home all day. But the nurses were so proud of me when I got there, because they're like, "You labored at home that long? Like, good job, girl." I'm like, "Yeah, that was not fun. I really wish I had some medication during that." But anyways, so we packed up my 4Runner. We got all our bags packed, and then we got to the hospital about 6:30 p.m. I am having a major panic attack. I'm hyperventilating in the car when we pull into the hospital. My husband's like, "You've got to breathe." I'm just so scared. Like, I'm going, like, I can't breathe. And we start walking in. I wouldn't get in a wheelchair because, like, walking through the contractions, like, feels better than just being sitting down to me. So my husband's like, "Do you want a wheelchair? Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, let's keep walking." So there's all these people walking by us in the hospital, and I won't even look at them because I'm so embarrassed because I'm crying my head off. I'm in so much pain, and I'm hyperventilating. So I'm like having a panic attack on top of like yelling ouch every, 50 seconds, 30 seconds. And I mean, it's just such a crazy experience. Like, your body's going to do what it's going to do, and you just have to deal. And it's really scary. I'm not going to lie, but this is my first baby and my last, because I'm not doing that again. And so I didn't really know what to expect. You can go to all the classes in the world, but until you experience it, it's just a whole new ball game. So when I got there, the lady that checked us in, she's like, "Who's your doctor?" I'm like, "Bracy." Like, I can't even talk. She goes, "Okay, when y'all come up in here like that, y'all freak me out." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Like, and I'm just covering my face because I cannot breathe. My face goes numb. My lips go numb. I'm like, "Why is my face and lips numb?" They're like, "Because you're hyperventilating," which is, I swear that's never happened to me before. So that means it must have been pretty bad. But so they get me in triage, and they're like, "Where were you the last time you were checked?" I said, "My doctor doesn't check me. She's very hands off, and she doesn't check you until you're in labor. She just doesn't see the point in checking you." And it was a little frustrating, like week 38, when I was like, I just want to know where I'm at. Like, is she effaced? Am I dilating? But my doctor was like, "I really just don't, you have a bigger risk of infection. You have more chances of bleeding, and there's just no point in it until you're in labor." So I'd never been checked ever. And their nurses are like, "Really?" I'm like, "That's just how my doctor rolls." So then we get to triage, and she's like, "I'm going to check you now." And I am at a 4 and 90% effaced. And so I was just like, "Cool, we're getting a room." Like, hallelujah, because I was ready to get the epidural like all day. So they gave me a room, and they gave me morphine, which to me didn't do anything. Like, honestly, my contractions were so bad that morphine did not touch it. And then they gave me an epidural, and I honestly did not feel it at all. Everyone so freaks you out about epidurals, but they do the little bee sting. You feel that. And then I didn't feel anything else. So that was amazing. And then half my body goes numb. And that was weird. So my family all started showing up, and we had a big group, like my sister-in-law, my other sister-in-law, my dad, my mom, my mother-in-law, and James, my husband. And so the room was full, but I honestly felt more comfortable having people around me that I knew. Like, I was like, I remember they wheeled me in the wheelchair. My mom's like, "I heard you yelling ouch down the hallway." I knew that was my daughter, and it just made me feel more comfortable having my mom there, like, just like seeing a familiar face, I guess. I brought some movies, like real funny movies, because me and my husband like stupid comedy. So I brought like Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, Baby Mama, and they have a DVD player in labor and delivery room. And so I literally tried to like distract myself and watched movies until I started pushing. And it was nice to just like lay there and giggle and like take my mind off of like, you're about to push out a human being. Like, I don't know, it helped me kind of distract myself. Anyways, I was also very sick. Like, I think from my anxiety, I was throwing up. I asked for some juice, immediately threw that up. Like, threw up the whole time. That sucked. But they kept saying it's just your nerves. Like, I'm an anxious person. I try to fight it, but you can't sometimes, And so that was scary to me. So, like I said, I got there at 6 p.m. Well, now at 7 a.m., like, that's how long I, like, dilated. They said I stalled at a 7, because I went to 4 to 7 pretty quickly, but then I stalled. So literally, we all took a nap. Me, my sister-in-law, my husband, everybody else got out of the room. We took a nap, and at 7 a.m. they woke me up, and they're like, "Let's check you." I was at a 10, and I had done the peanut ball a little bit too. Here we go. You want some breast milk? You want some breast milk, baby? You don't even want it. Anyways, so they're like, it's time to push, which was, I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. My doctor came in. I got my lavender oil going in the humidifier. I got I put my Pandora on Carrie Job. I love her. She has such a relaxing voice. I put it on her station and kind of turned it down where I could just barely hear it, which kind of calmed me. I had my husband on one side and my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, on the other side. She's a photographer, and I was like, I know this experience is crazy, and I would like pictures for me personally, not for Facebook or whatever, but just for me to have, because I wanted my husband to be in the moment, and so I trusted her, and I'm honestly really glad I had her in there, because you need two people. Like, I was just going to have my husband originally, and then I was like, I really would like pictures of the moment we meet our baby. And so she took pictures of me pushing and everything, and took pictures of them pulling her out, not of my downstairs, but she took pictures of the moment my baby coming into the world, and it was amazing. But your legs are so numb when you get an epidural, you need someone to help you hold your legs up. My arms are just now not sore from holding my legs up. Now I kind of understand why they're like, you should exercise during pregnancy, because I didn't exercise one time. I didn't even eat good. I ate veggie burgers and fries all the time, and whatever. I ate whatever I wanted. And I feel like I paid for it during child labor, because every 30 to 50 seconds, they'd be like, here's another contraction, time to push. And I would literally pull my legs up to my chest, and they're numb, so they're heavy. And I would put my chin down to my chest and be like, oh, and grunt and push as hard as I can, because you're numb and you don't really know what you're pushing. And my doctor would be like, yes, that's it. And you need a good cheerleader. And my husband would be like, you're doing a good job. And my sister would be like, you're doing it. And I would just be like, I can do this. And I would just push. So anyways, so I literally was in labor for 22 hours. And then I pushed, are you ready for this? For 3 hours. 3 hours I pushed this out of my vagina. And let me tell you, by that second hour of pushing every 30 to 50 seconds, pushing hard, I started to get discouraged. I started to cry a little bit. I told my doctor, I'm discouraged. I don't think I can do this. They were scaring me, saying, her shoulders may not fit. We don't know about the shoulders. I'm like, what do you mean? I can't even get her head out right now. So at 2 hours, I think it was at 2 hours, there's this much of her head sticking out. And then they were like, do you want to feel the head? And I've seen so many positive birth positive birth videos that I've seen how that gets the mom to be like, I can do this. I just felt the head. She's here. And so I didn't plan on doing that. But in the moment, I'm like, why not? There's 15 nurses in here looking at my stuff down there. I might as well just feel the baby's head. I am so modest when it comes to this kind of thing. I don't want people looking at my vagina, but you don't have a choice. And you are spread for the world. And there were so many nurses in there. And one nurse was like, I'm going to push your husband out of the way and lay on you and get the shoulders out if you're struggling. I'm just laying there what is about to happen? Am I about to have a C-section because I can't get this baby out because my pelvis is too small? After 2 hours of pushing, I'm starting to get really freaked out. And Jessica, my sister-in-law, said that the doctor had her hands in there pulling, helping me pull her out. So I don't even know if I would have been able to push her out without my doctor getting her hands in there and literally pulling this child out of me. Anyways, trying to not make this video super long, but it's a long story. So they laid her on my chest, and she did not cry at first, and that really scared me. And I was like, why won't she cry? Why isn't she crying? They're like, she's fine, she's fine. And they started to like wipe her off, and then she started screaming. I was like, she's good. My baby's fine. It all seems like a dream. I feel like you kind of check out because I was so delirious from like a whole day of labor, 3 hours of pushing, but you're kind of I was in shock for like, I mean, she's 12 days old now, so this happened 12 days ago, and it's still hard for me to believe. And I've talked to a lot of moms. They're like, it's always going to be hard to believe she's going to be 6 years old, and you're like, I pushed that out of me. It's just a crazy experience. Like I'm so glad I got to do it once, but I don't see how people do it again. I feel like you must forget how hard it is, because that was like, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but so worth it. So she weighed 6 pounds and 14 ounces. She's 19 and a half inches long. We only had to stay one night in the hospital. I only had to have one stitch. Just beware. The stitches suck. They'll give you little ice pack pads that are amazing, and the pain reliever spray. I have so many ideas for videos now. I'm going to do a postpartum care, like what you have to have video. I'm going to do probably like a what I didn't use in my hospital bag, what I definitely used in my hospital bag kind of story video. What other videos was I going to do? I don't know. I have a bunch of ideas now because I have so many things that I used to watch. But like postpartum care, I was always like, what am I going to need? What am I going to need? I need to know. So, the necessities that like, I feel like you need, like you can't live without, for a vaginal birth. I am going to do a video on that. But anyway, so the next, day, my doctor was like, do you want to go home? Because I didn't have a horrible tear, and I think I only had a hemorrhoid, which is a first for me. So that really sucked. But I can't believe we only had to stay one night, and I'm glad because the bed was uncomfortable, and my husband's bed was uncomfortable, and I was cranky, and they're taking your blood pressure, and they're taking your temperature over and over, and you don't get any sleep. And it's like, I thought when you're in the hospital, like the nurses would like, I don't know, I guess I thought I would get some more sleep, but our hospital doesn't have a nursery, and you don't they don't take your baby. Like, you have your baby in a little bassinet next to the bed, and you're recovering, and it hurts to sit up. Like, I was grunting like this, like, I don't know. I feel like each day gets better with the pain, and they sent me home with a couple of oxys, and then like 800 milligram ibuprofen, and that's all I'm on now is the ibuprofen, because they don't give you, like, our state has like addiction, like, is really bad here, pain pills, so they don't give you but like a couple days worth, and then you're on to ibuprofen, which is fine. But anyways, she had a little jaundice, but not enough for her to need treatment. When we went to our doctor's appointment, he said she was healthy, good weight, and everything's been awesome. They said she might not be able to hear in her left ear, which I know she can. Like, I know my baby's perfect, and I know that I don't think anything's wrong. But I think that she had amniotic fluid in her ear when they did the test, because that's really common. And so we will go to the doctor in March and do an audiology screening on her. I'll make sure she can hear out of that left ear. I'm not going to show her face because there's a lot of weird people on YouTube, and I just don't feel comfortable with that. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see her. It's at Stephanie Founds. I know that I think mine's private, so you may have to accept or like ask to follow me before you can see. But anyways, that's it. And there was a comment that was wanting me to answer this question, so I was going to do it at the end of this video. I forgot your name. I think it was Amy. But she asked if I had any embarrassing moments during pregnancy, like gassiness or whatever. And I really did not ever have an issue with gassiness. Like, I think it's worse after you have a baby, to be honest with you. But I do have one embarrassing thing that happened. and it's really not that bad, but it was mortifying to me. So one day I was getting ready for work, and my husband was home for lunch, and I always had to wear tennis shoes to do hair because being pregnant kills your feet. And so I'd have to tie my shoes every day. And I got ready for work. My husband's standing here in the living room next to me, and I bend down to tie my shoes and pee my pants. And I'm like, he's like, what? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just peed myself, and it was just a little bit, but I had to like go change my clothes. And that was pretty embarrassing. But that's literally the only embarrassing thing that happened to me during pregnancy was peeing my pants one time just from bending over to tie my shoes. I just peed. Like, there's nothing in there, but you squish that bladder with that belly, and sometimes you just can't help it. But anyways, hope you liked my birth story, and leave a comment. If you have any questions, I'll answer them on my next video. Being a mom is really hard. I don't get a lot of sleep, and my husband goes back to work in a week, so it's going to get harder, and I have to go back to work in 5 weeks, so that's going to be really tough. But I'm going to try to keep doing some videos. I can't promise you there will be a lot, but I do want to keep doing a little bit of content for you guys. So yeah, don't stress about the future. If you're one of the girls here that are basically in this uterine resection, receptum, whatever you call it, receptum, what is it? Uterine, whatever. If you had the uterus issue like I did where you needed surgery and you're thinking, I'm not going to have a baby ever, don't be discouraged. I said that a year ago, and now I have a baby that is completely healthy, that was grown in my heart-shaped uterus. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing, and I'm so thankful for this baby. I wish she would sleep at night so this mama can quit having the baby blues and crying at night. But hopefully my hormones even out soon, and I won't be doing this. Like, I seriously cry really hard every other night. I know it's just natural. Your hormones are regulating, but it's driving me insane. And I hope it doesn't turn into postpartum depression. But you know, we're only 12 days out, and that baby blues usually last 3 weeks, so I'm keeping an eye on it. But when she doesn't sleep at night, I get so exhausted that I just cry. That's a whole nother story. But anyways, thank you everyone for supporting me. I have mom brain, and I'm tired, and I'm not making any sense, so I'm gonna go now. Yeah, leave a comment, give me a like. Okay, she says goodbye.